in credit repair the other bureaus. Okay. So as you know, you are disputing with the big three credit bureaus, which are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. But before you start the credit dispute process, there's some other steps that you need to take. The first one is, of course, cleaning up your names and addresses, which we'll cover in a different video. But you also want to go and check what we call the other bureaus, because there are other bureaus out there that collect information on you that is shared across the internet. And it's also used by the big three credit bureaus to verify information about you, which is how they go about verifying things on your credit report that you're trying to get disputed. So I'm going to go to share screen. I'm going to run through some slides with you and explain what the other bureaus are and what you need to pay attention to with each of them and whether you need to suppress them or not. That's questionable on each one, but some of them you definitely want to put a security freeze on them before you start the credit repair process. So let me go here. I'm going to share this and I'm going to start this slideshow and run through this for you. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to optoutprescreen.com and opt out of what you're opting out of here is you're opting out of pre-approved credit card requests. What you're going to see here is when you go to optoutprescreen.com, you just go there, you go to that website, and it's going to ask you for some information. I'm going to tell you, you are going to have to put in your social security number. If that makes you uncomfortable, I don't know what else to say. But repairing your credit involves sharing your social security number quite a bit. But what opt-out pre-screen does is it takes you out of that. It takes you out of that pool of people where I know you get these letters in the mail that say, you know, you've been pre-approved for this card, this card, this card, this card, and those are what they call soft inquiries. Those are not hard inquiries. They're not hurting your credit, but you also just don't want these people poking around in your credit. And so you can opt out for 5 years. It's a 5-year opt-out. Basically, if you do it online, if you mail it in, you can opt out forever. But 5 years is probably good enough. If you go and repair your credit, at some point, you're going to want those offers. You know, you're going to want to opt back in. But optoutprescreen.com is your first step. Go there, fill out the form. It'll take you about 60 seconds and opt out of this. Okay, that's your first step. Just do it. We do it for every single client, 100%. It's what we do. And you should do it too if you're going to fix your own credit. So next one, okay, Innovis. Innovis is basically an aggregator of data, and they do have their own reports. But as this says here, don't let this be confused with CB Innovis, which is a different company. But your Innovis report, it has a lot of things on there like your names, addresses, date of birth, socials, and details regarding credit accounts. And what you want to do is you can request this report if you need it, if you want to read your report. But more importantly is to go in and just freeze it, put a security freeze on it. Remember, you are not claiming that you are a victim of fraud or identity theft. Just remember that. Okay, never claim that unless you actually are and you have a police report. I can't stress that enough. But you can go in and request a security freeze of your Innovis report, which will last basically forever. What I do want to say about all of these is, like, when you finish your credit repairing your own credit, you're going to want to go back and unfreeze these. So you want to keep track of all this somewhere on your computer and go back and unfreeze these when you are finished repairing your credit. And remember, credit repair takes a year or so. So be patient. Okay. But if you don't start and you don't do it, it's never going to get fixed. So it might seem like a year's a long time, but whatever. A year is going to pass whether you work on your credit or not. Okay. So this slide here, it shows how to go and get your credit report, where their website is, and you want to go and do a security freeze on your Innovis credit file. Okay, LexisNexis. This one is really an important one. We pretty much freeze LexisNexis on every client regardless. But what LexisNexis, what you really need to pay attention to on LexisNexis is if you have a bankruptcy on your credit report, or if you have any other kind of legal judgment against you, LexisNexis is where that information is stored. And so if you do have a bankruptcy on your credit report, you're going to want to request your LexisNexis report. It'll come to you in the mail. I have seen LexisNexis reports that are 300 pages long. Typically they're around 60 to 80, but I have seen some that are 300 pages long. Of that whole thing, the only part out of there that you really need is the 2 or 3 pages that cover your bankruptcy. What you're going to do on this is you're going to dispute your bankruptcy with LexisNexis before you dispute it with the credit bureaus, because typically you're going to beat it with LexisNexis, and the credit bureaus use LexisNexis to verify bankruptcy information. So if LexisNexis has deleted this bankruptcy from their report, then the credit bureaus are going to have a really hard time verifying a bankruptcy that's on your credit report. So you're going to want to request your LexisNexis. If you have a bankruptcy, you're going to want to request your LexisNexis report. And if you don't have a bankruptcy, you want to freeze this report anyway, because you can see how much stuff is on here: home ownership, education history, phone service history, address stability, voter registration, payday loan inquiries, on and on and on. I mean, this report covers your car, like your car insurance is on here. Everything, every address you've ever lived at since you were 2 years old is on here. There's a lot of stuff on your LexisNexis report. You might want to order it just to flip through the 300 pages and see what's in there about you. But you definitely want to freeze your LexisNexis report, okay, no matter what. Freeze it. Whether you have a bankruptcy or not, freeze it. If you have a bankruptcy, request the report, because you're going to need it in your dispute process. Advanced resolution services. This one also covers bankruptcies, and so, but LexisNexis is the primary one with bankruptcies. But if you have a bankruptcy, you're going to want to put a security freeze on your ARS account. It also keeps track of inquiries, and so if you are in the mood to dispute your inquiries, you're going to want to freeze your ARS account. And this one you have to do by mail. And on the slide here, I do have the mailing address and the instructions. So that's it for ARS. Next one, CoreLogic. Okay, CoreLogic is another one that you have to freeze this one by mail. It's CoreLogic. They cover a lot of the stuff that all the other stuff, these other bureaus cover as well. But you're going to want to put it, if you're getting serious about your credit repair, you're going to want to freeze your CoreLogic report. The CoreLogic one is a little more difficult to unfreeze. When you freeze it, they will send you a letter that has a pen in it that you're going to need when you want to unfreeze it. So just make sure you keep good copies of all that stuff. When it comes in the mail, just scan it and keep it on your computer, or keep it in a file in a filing drawer. Because someday you're going to want to unfreeze your CoreLogic, and you're going to need that pen when you do it. The instructions are a little long, so I stretched this out over 2 slides. Okay, for the CoreLogic, how to request your CoreLogic report, and also how to put a freeze on it. Next, actually, I put that over 3 slides. Next up is SageStream. So SageStream collects information about utilities, mobile phone services, credit card issuers, retailers, auto lenders. So if you go to one of these buy here, pay here places, that stuff, and it doesn't show up on your credit report, it shows up somewhere. SageStream. Okay. Utilities. If you have a bad record with a utility where you were late paying your electric bill all the time, but they don't have a collection against you, so you're like, okay, well, that's not on my credit report, so nobody's going to see it. Wrong. You move to a different city or a different house or whatever, and the utility run a SageStream report on you, and they can find all those late payments to your last utility company. Same thing for mobile phone services. If you're late on those, all that stuff gets reported there. So This stuff may not be on your credit report, but the information is out there, and utilities, they have a way to go out and find it, and find out, negative information about you that may not be on your credit report. ChexSystems is basically, this is, check writing. If you bounce checks and that's not on your credit report, that information is still stored out there. And typically, if you're going to go apply for a new checking account somewhere at a bank or a credit union, they're going to run a check system on you, and they're going to find out everything about you and your banking history. So you can request this report too, and you can also suppress this one. And okay, Clarity Services, which is a part of Experian, they're keeping track of payday loans, check cashing, auto loans. You're going to want to request this report and freeze it if need be. Now, you don't need to do all of these. These actually, with Clarity, I want to point out, like these next two slides, they have a specific form you have to use. This is just a photo of the form. You can go to their website. Their website is right here, and get the actual form if you want to freeze this or request your report. Let me back up to, I want to back up to, not LexisNexis, this one here, okay? ARS and CoreLogic and SageStream. There's something about them on here that I need to point out. So those, they also keep track of evictions or your rental history. Because I get people who ask me, can I get an eviction taken off their credit report? The reality is that evictions are not on your credit report, okay? What would show up on your credit report is if you left an apartment and you left damages there, or you didn't pay your last 2 months rent, whatever the case may be, but they have, they have filed a collection action against you. That collection will show up on your credit report, but evictions actually don't show up on your credit report. They show up under these other bureaus, Advanced Resolution Services, Innovis, and CoreLogic. That's where those show up. So you can maybe have an eviction that's, that didn't go to collections, and it's not on your, or you paid your rent late, month after month after month, but they don't have a collection action against you. And then you go, it's not on your credit report, and you think, okay, I can go apply for a new apartment somewhere. This stuff's not on my credit report. They're not going to find it. Wrong. There are systems out there that they go and check to find out about your rental history, and it's under these other bureaus. That's why you need to know about these, what we call these other bureaus. Okay, so those are the other bureaus. What I would say is this information right here is so valuable to helping you have a better life. It just is. It's going to help you in your credit repair. And if you go, even if you don't have bad credit, but you have some evictions and stuff like that, you can go back, you can go and suppress this stuff or clean it up or dispute it on those for the other bureaus and get that stuff cleaned up and just make your life easier as you move forward. So this is very valuable information. What I would say is, like, if anybody wants these slides, you just send me a message and let me know. I will be happy to email them to you, so you have them, you have the information. That's free of charge. Be happy to give it to you. So that's the lesson for today, the other bureaus. So as always, like, if you need us, if you have questions, you can call us at 888-610-7366 or visit our website, www.citizencreditsolutions.com. And as always, peace, love, and good credit. My next message will be about cleaning up your names and addresses. That will probably be, I don't know, in a couple days. So at any rate, it was good to talk to y'all. Can't wait to see y'all all again. And goodbye for now.